Well, I didn't live here. I lived in Kansas City at the time of this tornado, but I came down here. I heard it on the news that Stockton got wiped out, so I came down here to help Lester. And so I grabbed a generator and chainsaw and some tools and ice chest full of water and came down here and spent about 3 days picking up debris from Lester's shop and his mom's house and his house, and it was quite devastating. It was very weird to drive into town and drive right to the square and not realize you already passed it. You know, debris piles were still in the road, and driving past the cemetery was quite humbling to see all those stones laying on their sides and all the trees all gone. It was very odd, but it's pretty much my story. I just came to pick up stuff and went back home, but it was very sad to see my adopted hometown destroyed like that. So that's my story.
Yeah, Joe Webb.
Oh, yeah, Sue
told
Webb.
that story about. He said he was out there and he watched his tree bend over.
Amazing picture.
He said, I was sitting there watching it, and he said all of a sudden it just stood straight up and got quiet, and he told the wife, he said, we better get
out of here.
He said that's what they were eating supper
Yeah.
when it hit.
Wow.
And he said that tree went over when it stood up and got just dead still. He said, we better head to the basement. And he just shut the basement door when the house disappeared.
Wow.
Yeah, Joe was telling me about it. He said that was awesome. He said, I just almost didn't make it down there.
Yeah.
But it's just hard
Well,
to
yeah,
believe.
you know,
I mean,
come right down that road there, right down Morgan Drive, and just swept right down through that stuff. Man.
oh, that's just like all this. It's just hard to even imagine it anymore. Hard
Yeah. Well, yeah, because we forget what it was like.
It's just,
And but see, all that town
yeah,
center,
town
up there
center was
just-
gone. The MFA, that's not even on this
Yeah.
picture, was
Well,
gone. Paul implement all of them in old buildings.
Yeah. It's pretty.
Don't want to do it again.
No. But
And it just seemed like no time Ray was getting ready to build.
Okay.
yeah.
We
Oh
hooked him up
yeah.
we hooked him up
Trailer.
a temporary
Trailer
trailer
there,
there.
yeah.
To get him going, and then, you
Yeah.
know, 3-4 weeks later, he was getting ready
Yeah.
to build.
Oh, I know it.
I mean,
Yeah.
they got a hold of all the contractors, and he didn't stall any time.
And Vanessa Wimsett, she was working at Subway that night, and she hid in the cooler.
Was in the subway.
That's one thing that saved
Yeah,
her.
right.
Everything else was stripped
Yeah.
out, but she hid in the cooler while that was going on.
Well, you know,
In the cooler, probably.
Great, our Mid-Missouri Bank, the only thing left standing was a vault.
Yeah.
They took everything there.
Yeah.
I mean, it took it all.
Completely gone, I trust him.
And then I think people found mail way up around
Yeah,
Camdenton and
yeah.
places like that.
I found some of Wanda Castle's bricks out on my 118 acres.
Is that right?
She's the only one that had that color brick on her house, and the only house in town I know had that
Picked it up
whitish,
from there and took it all the way.
and took it all the way out there. And we found along the river, I don't know why we were down there, but there was signs from somewhere in Sheldon,
Is that
or over
right?
that way,
Yeah.
somewhere back that way. There was a sign stuck in the trees. They were right along Sac River. That's,
Now that wind does.
we were riding horse down there, Donnie Oldham and I.
Oh,
We
is
found the
that
sign,
right?
and I
I
said,
saw that.
where's that from? And we found out it was from over there. It come and traveled that far. But, you know, yeah, I had a lot of Wanda Castle's bricks in my pasture out there.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Up
By
at-
Casey's,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shriner set up, and they were feeding,
So,
they fed a lot of
so the
food.
volunteers
Oh, yeah.
were getting enough
Oh, yeah.
to eat,
They
you know,
were,
'cause
yeah.
they had them all.
They it was funny because they would when I did come down one time, I remember they were actually hollering at me, "Hey, you need a wheelbarrow?" You know, they had all kinds of wheelbarrows, rakes, everything.
Chainsaws.
Yeah, you
They
know.
had- yeah,
and I
they-
said, well, I'll take one of them to help clean up down. So, but you got to put it together, no problem.